Welcome back to Gender Discourse, and today we are discussing whether remarriages are acceptable today. Our phone lines are open now. If you want to ask any one of us a question, you're most welcome to. Our toll-free number is 011-230-35420. Now, I'd like to ask you, Varsha, 14 years of living in a marriage that did not work. How did you, and 3 children later, how did you decide to break the marriage? And what kind of courage did it take, and what was your family's reaction, immediate reaction?
14 years was a long period. I was in and out. I was going back to my parents, coming back to him.
Was it a turbulent marriage?
It was a very turbulent marriage, yes. And in between the children came in. But to say that we were not trying, we were trying, but it wasn't working out. So finally, I took that call. That here, both of us were suffering. My children were suffering the most because of turbulence at home. So I took that call to walk out.
And your parents accepted it?
To say that they accepted it right away, it was difficult for them. Because I come from Bihar, it wasn't easy. I was married when I was just 19 years, 8 months. By the time I was 24, I was mother of 3 kids. So it wasn't a very easy decision. I was just 35 when I took that call. But I took it because I felt I was entitled to a better life. I was entitled to live. I had one chance to live, and I wanted to live it the best way I could. And I had 3 beautiful children. So I was thankful to my former husband for blessing me with 3 children. And I still thank him for that. Because they were my pillars of strength, Sahila. They are my pillars of strength even today.
What wonderful views you have. You're a truly progressive woman. I must applaud you for this.
Thank you.
But Kamal, she has children. The children are the most affected in these cases.
Right.
So have you come across, I'm sure you come across a lot of cases where, you know, the person who has to remarry is rethinking it, or maybe they've come to you after remarriage with a problem with kids who do not accept the step-parent.
Oh, that's
or who've been scarred
true.
by maybe the previous marriage or the current one.
Even deeper question is what the state of affairs in this country when it comes to remarriages. If you go by arranged marriage, the second marriage getting arranged, so it's a shock for all of us, like it was a shock for me when I got to know this from a matchmaking, a very big profile, high profile matchmaker. They say that a woman with kids is not preferred for anybody who's going for a remarriage. A man who's going for a remarriage, they don't prefer a woman with kids. And there are so many...
what about a man with kids? He's all right.
He's all right. Now the basic reason that these guys told me, because I'm from the field, I need to have my awareness on all these things. So what they told me is that it also accounts to, it impacts the property division. So if a woman is carrying her kids, so she's actually bringing somebody who's gonna have their share for the kids. So it's an issue there. Now, if that's the state of affairs in our country, just imagine what's gonna happen. So we need to be more liberal. There has to be more openness in our society, because ultimately where will it end? It should be very openly taken up, as she said very rightly. So Varsha said that you have only one chance to live. Why not to live happily?
Yeah.
Why not to be...
Yes, Kamal, sorry I have to interrupt you. We have Yogesh from Gurgaon who's just called us. Yes, Yogesh, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. While we talk about remarriage,
right,
it is sometimes a very challenging aspect, because on the one hand we look at the conditions that have resulted in a marriage breaking down. Sometimes, like in a situation that I was in, I was working for a corporate house overseas, and the corporate house sent its people, to victimize my wife. And the wife, in the state of trauma and this condition that she fell in, she sort of, the marriage kind of broke down gradually over a period of time. It kind of came to an end. Now, getting over the traumatic experience of corporate house targeting the spouse and targeting the way, in the manner in which they targeted was quite abusive. So something like this is also a situation that comes up in marriage and remarriage, and getting over something like this is quite traumatic, because the premarital situation was very good. There was absolutely nothing between us. There was nothing that went wrong between us. I mean, everything was smooth. We had an extremely good sort of relationship, and ultimately we found out that it's the corporate house that was, sort of employee who was kind of, vindictive.
Right, right. So what's your question, Yogesh?
Remarriage can be a very difficult situation in, when you have a sort of a situation where the marriage was working very well. But the breakdown of the marriage was due to sort of external forces.
Right. Kamal, would you like to answer this?
Definitely, I would like to answer Yogesh, even if it is an external force. But then there is a gap. So there was something that was fragile in the marriage where any external force can impact. So two people, if they actually communicate, if they connect to each other, if they accept each other, if they are open enough to discuss issues which otherwise people don't discuss and there are apprehensions, if they are solution oriented, if they are collaborative, anything can be sorted out, but then it calls for both of them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Amrita, in a remarriage, a person has to walk into another home which has another set of rules, customs, acceptance, non-acceptance, everything is there. I mean, it's a package, it's a part of it. So how do you think a woman, I'm talking about a woman, how do you think would a woman tackle a situation like this? Have you ever come across a case history?
Yes, I did meet a person, actually an old friend, and she was getting married again, and her initial fears were this, that she'll probably be moving into a totally different household, and
maybe with an extended family.
With an extended family, and because it's the second try that she's giving the relationship. The major apprehension was the expectations, expectations from the extended family, expectations from the new spouse, expectations from the relationship itself. All these do tend to put a lot of pressure on the person, and it's not just the pressure, it's something that you want to go the extra mile for.
Right, right. I'll have to interrupt you too, Amrita. There's Vikas Anand from Jharkhand who would like to ask us a question. Yes, Vikas, are you on the line? Are you on the phone?
Yeah.
Yes. Please ask your question.
My name is Vikas Anand and I'm speaking from Jamshedpur. It's not question about myself actually. Actually, my mother died last year, and my father is there. So everyone, I'm the only son of my father, so everyone put me in a pressure. It's like I'm doing job right now and I'm 26 years old. So everyone in society, in my surrounding, everyone asked that to convince my father to get married. And it's like whenever I see my father sitting alone, I feel like my father in a very poor condition. He needs to partner forward.
Right.
But I'm not convinced. I'm at such an age that I cannot. I miss my mother actually, and I'm not able to accept myself that that shall I go to another woman that I can. No one can take that place actually.
Okay.
My question is how to cope up with this situation, how to answer those people what they're asking. I'm in a dilemma situation. My father is at the other end, I am at the other end. So this is a situation very much complex to me.
Kamal, you should answer.
So Vikas, more important is your love for your father, and now it's not you. You should ask your father, how is he feeling? How does he find life? Is he open to this idea or not? When the society comes into play and they force situations or conditions onto somebody, the complications increase, I would say. So I recommend talk to your father, have a very nice word with him, and when it comes to a decision that he should marry or he wants to marry, then on you it is you don't have to call that new woman as your mother, but you can see her as your father's wife. You can see somebody related to your father. She can be a friend to you. She can be some senior to you.
As in
who's
Varsha's
related.
case.
Yeah, as in Varsha's case. So I really respect Varsha for she accepted her daughter's happiness. Similarly, you can accept and respect your father's happiness, you know. So it's a very right approach, as I think.
And one thing that I would like to add, Vikas, here is that you are, at the moment you're having a problem accepting the fact that there would be another woman in your father's life. But you must remember that everyone needs a companion. And with every passing day, you will have your own life, but your father is going to be left alone. And he also needs company. And companionship, there is no age bar on
Absolutely, absolutely. We have Suresh from Mumbai who's calling us. Suresh, are you there on the phone? Suresh? I think it's disconnected. So, one of the reasons why people are either apprehensive or why a second marriage may not work, I'm just going through all the cons first, is that there is no privacy in a second marriage, especially if you have in-laws and if you have stepchildren. And there is always this embarrassment, especially, and if you're an older couple, that you can't express the fact that you want privacy with your husband or your wife. That can lead to a strained relationship. What do you feel, Amrita?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's like
you don't have the kind of freedom that you may have in a first marriage.
In a first marriage,
where there are no children involved in the beginning.
And you have to create that space.
You have to create that space.
But
yes.
it's something I think what most people have come across, they take the wise way of giving it some time, and it's like getting adjusted to a whole new environment, whole new setup. So with time, with a little bit of experience, I'm sure you experienced it yourself. That does come about, but you have to give it some time.
Right. We have Ashwati from Bengaluru. Ashwati?
Yes, my question is actually, I have gone through a domestic violence last year, and the thing is that I have, put some cases against my in-laws and my husband also, but they have come to me and they have apologized for everything, and now when I'm again with my husband, I'm feeling kind of indifferent, and I'm feeling as if I have made a wrong decision because, everyone in my family, in my in-laws family, they haven't accepted me, no one talks to me, and now I'm actually confused because, I'm actually not happy what decision I have taken of coming back, because when I'm spending my life with my husband, I'm a little confused whether this relationship will go for long or not. So, because, sometimes we have a bad argument between us and we are, fighting with each other. Sometimes he again getting aggressive to me. So, I'm actually confused. Should I go for a separation because we are not able to stay with each other?
Varsha, I think you'd be able to answer this.
My suggestion to you is that you have to introspect within what you should do and to what extent you feel that the suffering is so much that you can't bear it anymore. That's how I did it. So that conviction, you have to take it from within yourself. But having said that, if you decide to move away, you should not live with guilt that you have made any accusations against your companion.
Right.
Because if you have done it, I'm sure there would be some reasons for you to do it. If you've done it, then you must live up to it and be sure that yes, this is it. And then decide to move out if you think it is just not bearable. Because he's entitled to a better life, you are entitled to a better life, a different life. And I'm sure you can find a companion.
Right. Kamal, in a second marriage situation, there could be financial constraints too, especially if you're paying maintenance to the former spouse. So in such a scenario, can that ruin the second marriage, or at least impact it in a negative way?
I've been listening to so many views from all of us and the people who are calling up. I'd like to put a very important point here. When it is marriage, it's about two people who are uniting as a man and a woman, as a husband and wife, a man and a woman when they unite. So the word to be noticed here is unity. Unity will come when it is unity in thoughts. That will come when you are actually so much open. So when you're so much open, no resource, no factor, no external force can be an issue. It's like even if the question that you just asked, maintenance, if there's shortage of funds or some funds, part of some funds are going somewhere else, it has to be well accepted.
Right.
So it's more about unity, which has to do with love, acceptance, and then decisions can be taken mutually.
Right. We have Venugopal from Mumbai who would like to ask a question, and we'll give you the answer after the break. Okay, Venugopal, your question please.
नमस्कार मैम, हिंदी में बात कर रहे हैं, चलेगा?
जी बिल्कुल।
सवाल ये है कि यदि पुनर्विवाह हो रहा है और जो पहले के जो शादी से हुए बच्चे हैं उसमें और जो नया व्यक्ति की शादी हो रही है, अगर वो बहुत उम्र का तकाजा मतलब है, यदि मान लीजिए कोई फादर जो है वापस से रीमैरिज कर रहे हैं और जो वाइफ आ रही हैं, हेलो,
हाँ जी सुनाई दे रहा है,
वो यदि अगर काफी एज डिफरेंस है और साथ में जो है काफी संपत्ति या जायदाद का मामला है कि काफी बड़ी एस्टेट है, तो ऐसे केसेस के अंदर अक्सर ये होता है कि रिजेक्शन का कारण जो है सिर्फ शादी का होना नहीं होता है, एक वो जायदाद या जो इतनी बड़ी एस्टेट है उसका बंटवारा कैसे होगा, क्या होगा, उससे भी होता है। उस बारे में अगर हमारे एस्टीम्ड पैनल के जो लोग हैं अगर कुछ रोशनी डाल सकें।
जी, कमर जी ने तो थोड़ी रोशनी पहले डाली थी, लेकिन जो जवाब है हम आपको ब्रेक के बाद देंगे।